Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling when it seems like everyone else is moving forward really on the fast track and you're just, well, stuck. Like really stuck in the mud, maybe. The world keeps turning, but you feel like you're standing completely still.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting into today.
Yes, that specific feeling, that inner sense of being, well, lost. Even when, everything on the surface looks okay.
Right, like you might have a stable job, a routine, you see friends.
Exactly. But inside, there's this nagging feeling, like you're a bit off course or maybe running on autopilot.
Totally. And look, if that sounds like you right now, if that resonates, this deep dive is absolutely for you. And our goal here, our mission, it isn't about giving you like quick fixes or judging anything.
No.
Think of this more like a candid chat, friend to friend, just exploring that feeling, sharing some insights from our own experiences and some stuff we've looked into.
And the core idea we're kind of unpacking is, what if feeling lost isn't the end of the road?
Yeah. What if it's actually maybe a turning point, a really powerful one?
Exactly. So stick with us. If you feel this way, you're definitely not alone.
It's interesting, isn't it, how often this feeling, this being lost, it doesn't really show on the outside.
Right. Life can look totally normal. You're going through the motions, ticking the boxes, seeing people.
Through all the things.
All the things. But internally, there's this, profound disconnect, a feeling of just, autopilot.
Oh, absolutely. I remember this feeling so clearly from years back. I was sitting in my car just before heading into work, and on paper, everything in my life was pretty much in order.
Looked good.
Looked good. But this thought just popped into my head, quiet but clear. Is this it?
Wow. Yeah.
It wasn't like some huge traumatic crisis, just this quiet, unsettling question, Felt like my body was there, ready for the day, but my heart, it was just somewhere else. Completely.
I get that.
Yeah.
That resonates. It's like, imagine being in a huge maze. You're walking, you're making turns, but everything starts to look the same. And this wave of just confusion washes over you.
Yeah.
You start questioning every turn you made. Am I even on the right path? Am I going backwards?
And does everyone else know where they're going?
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it worse. It feels like everyone else has the map, the secret instructions, and you're just lost.
Yeah.
There's a real, visceral discomfort with feeling so adrift.
But that discomfort, even though it feels, awful, maybe it's actually a really important signal.
Like an alarm bell.
Yeah. Your internal alarm system kicking off saying, hey, something's not quite right here. Maybe nudging you towards a change.
Absolutely. That moment of friction, that internal, wait a minute, what am I actually doing here? That's often the very first flicker of clarity, isn't it?
It really is.
It's like the initial spark that can, ignite something new, something more aligned with who you actually are.
So true. And it's fascinating to think about what often leads us there in the first place.
Yeah, because it's usually not one big catastrophic mistake, right?
Right. Rarely. More often, it seems like it's this accumulation of lots of small choices that seemed okay, maybe even well-intentioned.
Totally.
But they were ultimately misaligned and often driven by listening too much to what everyone else thinks.
Oh, the external voices. So many pressures.
From when we're kids, right?
Yeah, from a young age. We're guided, sometimes maybe even steered by parents, teachers, friends.
Society, the internet.
All of it. All these opinions and expectations. And over time, all those external messages can actually kind of drown out our own inner voice. We start prioritizing what others think we should be doing over what actually truly resonates deep inside us.
It's like we all have this internal compass, right? That gut feeling, your intuition, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly tuning into everyone else's GPS, your own compass gets slightly off, miscalibrated.
Just a tiny bit off.
Yeah, but even a small deviation, over years, it can land you miles away from where you actually wanted to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You end up on a path that looks good on paper, safe, respectable, everyone approves.
Checks all the boxes.
But it just feels wrong deep down.
Oh, I've been there. Choosing my major and university, classic example for me.
Oh, yeah?
I picked something that honestly sounded impressive, something I thought would make people go, oh, wow.
Right. The dinner party answer.
Totally the dinner party answer. It wasn't really based on genuine interest or, what I actually liked doing. Cut to years later, I had the degree, looked good on the resume, but I felt completely unfulfilled. and just deeply confused about where to go next career-wise. It was such a stark lesson in, well, ignoring that inner compass.
That's a powerful story.
Yeah.
And it highlights that crucial question we need to keep asking ourselves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Am I doing this because I want to, because it excites me, because it feels right, or am I doing it because I think I'm supposed to?
The shoulds versus the wants. That distinction is huge.
It really is. And once you start noticing that pull of the external shoulds, you often bump up against something else that makes us, well, pretty uncomfortable.
Let me guess. Uncertainty.
Bingo. Uncertainty. We humans, we tend to crave structure, right? Predictability. We want the map.
We love a good plan.
Love a plan.
Yeah.
So when we don't have all the answers, when the path ahead is foggy,
Yeah.
it can trigger a lot of anxiety, panic even.
For sure.
But what if we could try to reframe that uncertainty? Not as like this terrifying void, but maybe as potential, as fertile ground.
Interesting, like space.
Exactly. Space to think, space to explore different things, space to actually rediscover what our real priorities are now that the old path isn't working.
That's a really helpful reframe. I'm thinking about a time I left a job and I genuinely didn't have another one lined up.
Oh, scary.
Terrifying. There was so much fear, so many what ifs. But looking back, that period of uncertainty was incredibly valuable. Well, it forced me to slow down, like really slow down, to reconnect with things I'd been neglecting. And ultimately, it opened doors to possibilities I hadn't even considered before because I wasn't on that rigid track anymore.
See, that's it. When the familiar structures fall away, we often have to become more resourceful, more open.
You kind of have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Curiosity can spark again. You start trying new things, listening more carefully to that inner voice, that gut feeling.
Yeah.
It can feel scary, absolutely, no question.
Yeah.
But it's also often where the real growth happens, where unexpected, maybe even magical things can emerge in that space between the old thing and the new thing.
The liminal space.
Exactly. So if you're listening and you're in that uncertain territory right now, maybe try to lean into the openness of it, just a little.
Yeah. It's okay not to have all the answers.
It's totally okay. Stay curious. Trust that eventually a new direction will start to reveal itself.
Okay, so you've maybe made peace a little bit with the unknown. You've accepted you don't have the 5-year plan all mapped out. What's next? For me, it feels like the next step is often turning inward.
Shifting the focus.
Yeah, away from all the external noise, the to-do lists, the expectations, and tuning into what truly matters deep inside.
That's precisely it. And this is where understanding your core values becomes so important.
Values, okay.
And we're not talking about like lofty, complicated ideals. These are your fundamental truths, the things you deeply, deeply care about.
So how do you find those?
Just ask yourself simply, what are, say, the 3 or 4 things that are non-negotiable for me in life?
Like?
Well, maybe it's connection with family. Maybe it's personal freedom, a commitment to learning something new. Maybe it's kindness or creativity or your health.
Gotcha. Simple truths.
Simple truths. And often that feeling of being lost, it pops up because we've unknowingly drifted away from these core values. We're living out of alignment with them.
I can definitely see that. I remember a period where I was so laser focused on, external achievements.
Yeah.
Productivity, hitting targets.
Checking the boxes again.
Checking those boxes. And I completely neglected the things that actually nourished my soul, like writing just for fun or really connecting with friends, not just surface level stuff. And looking back, I realized I had, just like you said, drifted away from what made me feel like me.
Right. And the simple act of consciously reconnecting with those values, it can be incredibly grounding, even when things still feel uncertain.
Like an anchor.
Exactly. It provides that internal compass again, a true north, to help guide your decisions, even small ones. And once you have a clearer sense of what truly matters, the next step, maybe counterintuitively, is often to focus on something really small.
Ah, yes, because the idea of making massive sweeping changes when you're already feeling lost and overwhelmed, it's just too much.
Way too much. Paralyzing even.
Totally. That's where the power of tiny actions comes in, right? I found setting almost ridiculously small goals can be surprisingly effective.
Oh, absolutely. Tiny goals are key.
Yeah.
Some days when motivation is just rock bottom, a goal might be write 1 sentence.
Just one.
Or step outside for 10 minutes. Just stand there. It sounds insignificant, doesn't it?
It does, but it's not.
It's not, because those tiny little actions, they create a feeling of forward movement, a tiny bit of momentum.
Exactly. I had days where my only goal was literally get out of bed, drink a glass of water.
Right.
That was the win for the day.
And that's a huge win on some days.
Right. But completing that one tiny thing, it gave me this little spark, a tiny feeling of accomplishment. And that spark, it can build, it can grow into something much bigger over time.
We totally underestimate the power of consistent small wins. It's like compound interest for your motivation.
Huh? I like that. Compound interest for motivation. Even with something like learning English, right? If you commit to saying just one new sentence out loud each day, over weeks and months, that creates a real shift in confidence, in energy.
Definitely. So if you're feeling stuck, forget the grand plan for a minute. Just identify one tiny, doable, almost too easy action you can take today.
Start there.
Start there. Build from that small win.
Yeah.
And, even with those small steps, there are going to be tough days where it feels impossible.
Oh, for sure.
Which is why having support around you is just vital.
Connection. It's everything, isn't it?
It really is. Thinking back to times I felt most lost, just reaching out to a trusted friend, it was a lifeline.
What made the difference?
Honestly, just having someone listen, really listen, without jumping in to fix everything, without judgment.
Just hearing you.
Just feeling seen.
Yeah.
Feeling understood. That alone made such a profound difference.
That's so true. Sometimes just knowing someone else gets it, or at least acknowledges your struggle,
Yeah.
it just lessens the weight somehow.
It really does. And that support can come from anywhere, right? Friends, family, maybe a teacher, a mentor.
Even online communities now.
Absolutely. Having those connections provides that crucial support network. And reaching out, it's not weakness.
No way.
It's strength.
It's total strength. Sharing your journey, even the messy bits, it can create accountability, sure. But more importantly, it reminds you you're not navigating this completely alone.
And as you take those small steps, maybe connect with others, it feels really important to actually acknowledge those wins, however small they seem.
Yes. Celebrate the little victories. We are so quick to focus on the destination or the mistakes.
Oh, we remember the mistakes vividly.
Don't we just... We dwell on the perceived failures more than we recognize the moments we were brave, the moments we showed up even when it was hard.
So true. Getting out of bed on a tough day, that's a victory.
Totally. Opening that journal you keep meaning to write in.
Asking for advice finally.
All milestones. Worth acknowledging. I actually started keeping a sort of lost and found journal for a while.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, on one side of the page, I jot down moments when I felt particularly lost or confused or stuck.
And then on the other side, later, I'd note down what I learned during that time, or what small positive thing happened, or what insight I gained, even tiny things.
I love that, a lost and found journal.
Yeah. And looking back over it was really powerful. It was this concrete reminder that even in those difficult, foggy periods, there was still growth happening, still discovery. It wasn't just wasted time.
That really reframes it, doesn't it? Those periods aren't failures. They're part of the journey, full of valuable, maybe hard-won lessons.
Exactly. The detours, the unexpected turns, the times you felt completely off track.
Yeah.
They all contribute to our wisdom, our resilience. They make us more human.
Definitely more human.
So maybe, take a moment today. Reflect on a time you felt lost in the past. And ask yourself, okay, what did I find there?
Good question.
Maybe it was patience you didn't know you had. Maybe it was a new friend who showed up. Maybe it was just the courage to start again.
Yeah.
And those are absolutely victories worth celebrating. Not necessarily with a big party.
No fanfare needed.
No fanfare needed. Just a moment of kindness towards yourself. A deep breath, a gentle reminder. Hey, you're still here. You're still on your way.
Right.
And that in itself is pretty significant.
Okay, that actually gave me goosebumps. I think maybe we both needed that reminder too.
Probably.
And we really, truly hope that something in our conversation today resonated with you, sparked a new thought, maybe shifted your perspective a little.
Or even just helped you feel a tiny bit less alone in navigating these feelings.
Absolutely. And now let's actually turn to Charlotte. She's going to take a closer look at some of the specific words and expressions we used in this deep dive.
Hi everyone, Charlie here. In today's deep dive, we explored some really interesting ideas about feeling lost and finding your way. Along the way, we used some natural English words and expressions that might be new or a bit tricky. So let's clarify a few.
Sounds good.
First up, heart to heart. This means having a very sincere, honest, and usually private conversation, often about feelings, like they needed a heart-to-heart to clear the air. Then there's regret. This is that feeling of sadness or disappointment over something that happened or something you did or didn't do. You might say, my biggest regret is not telling them how I felt.
Okay.
Uncertainty. This is simply the state of not being sure about something, not knowing what the outcome will be. The future always holds some level of uncertainty.
True.
If you're curious, it means you have a strong desire to know or learn something. Like, children are naturally curious about the world. To drift. This often means moving slowly or aimlessly without a clear purpose or direction. After college, he felt like he was drifting for a while.
Yeah, I eat that.
Momentum. This is the force that keeps something moving forward once it is started. The project gained momentum after the initial phase.
Right.
A breakthrough is a significant and often sudden discovery or achievement that overcomes an obstacle. The negotiation finally led to a breakthrough.
Nice one.
If you're accountable, it means you take responsibility for your actions and their consequences. Leaders need to be accountable to their team. A mentor is an experienced person who advises and guides a younger or less experienced person. Having a good mentor was crucial for her career growth.
Very helpful.
A milestone is an important stage or event in the development of something. Graduating was a major milestone in his life.
Definitely.
Detours. These are routes that are different from the main or planned route, often taken temporarily. We took a scenic detour on our way home. Life has detours too.
Ah, it certainly does.
Goosebumps. Those little bumps you get on your skin when you're cold, scared,
Yeah.
or sometimes really moved or excited.
Yeah.
That song always gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Perspective. This is your particular way of thinking about something, your point of view. Talking to others gave me a different perspective on the problem.
Crucial.
Being on autopilot. This means doing things automatically, without much conscious thought, often because you're tired or it's routine. By Friday afternoon, I was just running on autopilot. And finally, crossroads. This refers to a point where an important decision must be made, one that could change your direction significantly. She felt like she was at a crossroads in her career.
A big moment.
Exactly. So I hope breaking those down helps a bit. Keep listening for them, try using them, and you'll definitely see your English improve. See you next time.
Thanks so much, Charlotte. That clarity is always really valuable.
Absolutely. Super helpful.
And hey, if you're listening and you've made it all the way through this deep dive with us, seriously, well done. Showing up for yourself, taking the time to explore these kinds of ideas, that really counts for something.
It really does.
And don't forget, you can grab a free PDF that has the full transcript of today, plus some comprehension exercises and reflection questions to help you, dig a bit deeper into all this. Links right there in the description.
Check it out.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive. But until then, keep learning, keep exploring, keep growing.
And maybe most importantly, be kind to yourself on the journey, wherever you are right now.
Exactly. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.